guys. Thank you for the good night.
You have made one of the most consistent horror film franchises in history. That's a big, big deal.
Thank you very much, and welcome to my show. I've been very lucky to have good partners in Bruce Campbell and Rob Tabbert, lifelong friends. Having a friendship is having people you can count on when you're a filmmaker is really so important, it turns out, because when you're down, they can pick you up, and they're not afraid to say, that's an old idea, or top your idea, and it's, you know that it's coming from the right place, it's coming from making the project better. So we have had a long franchise together, and I think it's due to our friendship.
I'll bring in,
where'd that come from?
I got the signal, I got the thumbs up, we're safe. It's actually, this is my magic. Your magic goes up there, I make mics happen. I'll loop in a new collaborator for you right now in Lee Cronin, the director of Evil Dead Rise. I was talking to Lee recently, and from our perspective, we first heard that Lee was gonna make the movie in the summer of 2020. You first started having conversations with him immediately after seeing The Hole in the Ground in January of 2019. So you believed right out the gate. What was it about that movie that signaled to you that he'd be a good Evil Dead director?
Well, a lot of people thought that that was really a great movie, so it wasn't something that just I saw. It was really about the craftsmanship that went into constructing the story, his detail in working with the characters, bringing them to life on the screen, and really having a great sense of the ability to build suspense. I saw and felt that coming from the movie. And more than anything, I think what I was looking for was a great craftsman, craftswoman to fashion a story that the audience could be held in suspense, could jump at the scares the craftsman delivered, and he really had the ability. I could recognize that, and I think that's what got him the job.
He's a special one. I can confirm. Hole in the Ground. Do check it out if you haven't yet. We don't want to spoil anything in Evil Dead Rise, but just to tee up what everyone has to look forward to, is there a particular set piece in that movie that you just absolutely adore and cannot wait for everyone to experience in full?
For me, it isn't a particular set piece. I like being in the audience, though, and I like watching Lee pull the strings like a great puppet master, taking us up and down, building suspense, getting ready to deliver a scare, but holding back, building more tension, then giving it to him. And I like watching the whole flow of the thing, not just, there's no particular individual moment that stands out for me. It's more about the entirety of the manipulation.
He's an expert at that. I want to back up a little to the beginning-ish of the franchise. A big reason why Evil Dead movies stand out to me is because each one has a really unique feel to it. So I am curious, when you decided to lean more comedy with Evil Dead 2, lean more fantasy with Army of Darkness, did you have confidence that the original Evil Dead fans would be along for that kind of ride?
No, I didn't have any confidence about that. There weren't really any Evil Dead fans. We made the first Evil Dead movie, and I think it opened in 60 theaters because they only could afford to make 60 prints. Nowadays, movies open to like 3,000 theaters. So, and it went out and it played in its little drive-in markets. It would play like in Ohio and Cincinnati, Cleveland, Detroit. Then they would take those 60 prints and move them to the next tri-state area. It was a very small and piddling thing, and it was mostly people in drive-ins that would watch it. And this is before the days of video, really, videotape even. And no, there weren't fans of that movie. I mean, overseas it did do pretty well in England, but it was more of an underground hit elsewhere, and not a hit, that's the wrong word to use, but it was not a success, basically. So when we made Evil Dead 2, we weren't even aware that there were fans of the movie, and there really weren't, and we were just trying to get another job.
And now look.
Yeah, there you are. Hey, thanks for coming away.
Squeezing in a very selfish question. I love the whole franchise. I was obsessed with Ash vs. Evil Dead. Do we have an Ash vs. Evil Dead? Let's say, you know, studio okays were not part of the equation, and you could keep that series going for however long you want. Can you tell us what that might have looked like?
No. I don't know that there was much of Bruce left to batter, but I would have tried. You know, he's really gung-ho, Bruce, and the their network wasn't big enough for both, and it just wasn't popular enough to, like all the Evil Dead movies, it was really no surprise to us. It's never been a popular movie or series. Each one, years later, gets a following, but we kind of knew that we were surprised to have season 2.
The Star's audience might not have been the biggest to get you another season, but the heart of each and every individual who loved that show was absolutely massive. That community was a very special one to be a part of. I'll squeeze in one more question before sending it out to the audience. So again, we have Ash vs. Evil Dead. We now have Evil Dead Rise. What would the Evil Dead making you, like what in these new movies or the show make you go like, oh my, I cannot believe that one day we would be capable of doing that with this idea and this franchise?
Yeah, it really goes to how bankrupt our society is. No, I'm joking, of course. No, we had no idea. We were just trying to make a drive-in movie, and we got really lucky. And we want to make movies, we want to entertain the audience, and here's a franchise, now I can use that word, where we can make another one. We kind of have now we know we can get another Evil Dead movie made, and that's thrilling. Now we can start really investing for the longer term, continuity of character and storyline. So we're very excited to be able to start thinking about that now.
It's the best possible answer you could have given just now. All right, I'm going to send it to the audience.